Good morning. We're going to be talking through today the Birmingham Cultural Intelligence Framework, what it's about, and sort of the different components of the framework. So just a bit of background on BCIF and its origins. We undertook the Birmingham and Lewisham African Caribbean Health Inequalities Review, which explored health inequalities affecting the African and Caribbean communities, the best way to address them, and the recommendations to break structural inequalities and achieve sustainable change. The report followed a thematic approach to considering health inequalities, drawing on the life course model and the wider determinants of health, with the findings of the report exploring 39 opportunities for action across 8 themes. From this, 7 key priority areas have been identified, including cultural competency, under which cultural intelligence and cultural humility and safety lie, under the theme trust and transparency. Under the trust and transparency theme, the review called for cultural competence training of healthcare and social care professionals, led by the NHS, integrated care systems, and the councils. So what is the BCIF? BCIF is short for the Birmingham Cultural Intelligence Framework, which is a toolkit to help individuals and organisations to develop, strengthen, and evidence their deeper understanding and approach to enabling and empowering different communities of identity and experience. The framework has 7 domains of competence for cultural intelligence, which individuals can work through using competency criteria and reflective practice templates, and organisations can audit and evaluate to monitor and demonstrate progress. The BCIF is designed to allow individuals to move between domains, but doesn't expect everyone to achieve all levels of competence for every community identity. And there is crossover in core skills between communities, but the knowledge and understanding of the Pakistani community is not the same as for the Nigerian community, nor is it the same as for the gay or deaf community. So the framework can be used multiple times to underpin cultural intelligence for different communities of identity. And as you'll see on the right, these are the 7 different domains of competency, which we'll be going through each one, describing what each contains and how to achieve this. So I touched on it just briefly. What is reflective practice? So it's a method to reflect on your own learning, knowledge and experiences in order to improve for the future. So by spending some time reflecting on experiences and our reactions to those experiences, we can identify opportunities to improve for the future, as well as any further opportunities for learning and development. Reflective practice uses a series of questions to help you to reflect on a specific experience or piece of learning. Through answering these questions and spending time to analyse your own responses, you can develop deeper insight into your own behaviours, knowledge and reactions, and find opportunities to improve for the future. And it is common in some professions, such as medicine, nursing and social work. But for many of us, it is a new skill to develop and it takes a bit of time and practice. But once you get used to it, then you will really see the value and benefit for yourself and the people you work with. So this is a example template for reflective practice. There is one for each domain of practice, and they follow a similar pattern with 4 sections. So section A, details of the activity being reflected on. Section B, a description of learning and response. And section C, impact of learning on practice. And then the final section, which is section D, details of who is completing the reflection. Completing reflective practice template should take about an hour, and you should set aside some time to do this, somewhere that is quiet and you can concentrate so you can get the best value from the experience. So this is an example. So the first section has 4 questions. So what did I learn? How did I feel about what I learned, experience, and why did I feel this? What was good about the experience and what was bad about the experience? And then there are additional questions. So how will what I experience change the way I behave in the future? Is there any further learning I need to develop this area further? And any other reflections? So as you start to use the cultural intelligence toolkit for the specific community you have selected, we would like you to do a reflective practice exercise using the questions below, and that will help you reflect on how you are entering your learning journey and your relationship to the community that you're focusing on. So again, these are some of the example questions. So which community you're doing a competency domain activity on? Why did you choose this community to focus on? What do you know about this community already, and have you had any personal or professional connection with the community? So how do we demonstrate competency? So for every domain activity completed, the separate reflective practice template should also be completed. And activities can only be used for one domain of practice and one reflective practice template. So you may see on the resource list that different different resources are using different communities for the same domain. You'd only be able to use that source for one specific activity. Reflective practice templates will need to be submitted to your organisational learning portal and may be selected for audit to ensure quality and content is appropriate. So below we've just got sort of a table of how you would move through and show your competency. So you would complete your domain activity and you would then complete a reflective practice template once that's done. It would then be submitted and logged on your organisational learning portal. And then a certificate would be issued for everything except for the game changer competency, which we'll go on to discuss, which requires peer review prior to certificate. So peer review audit of sample reflective practice templates would be validated, and if required, resubmission following feedback from peer review audit. So what are peer reviews or peer review audits? So peer reviewers should be staff who volunteer to be part of the quality control and assurance process for the organisation. They should receive additional training on undertaking peer review process. This may be from within the organisation or through Birmingham City Council BCIF peer reviewer training and refresher programme. Peer reviewers should have a fixed amount of time each month to undertake peer review, so this should be factored within their work plan, like other corporate responsibilities, with each peer review taking no more than 10 to 15 minutes. Peer reviewers should provide feedback on how to improve future reflective practice templates, with the process being anonymous and at least 10% of completed templates being reviewed. If through this audit there is insufficient evidence that the reflective practice templates have been completed in enough depth to demonstrate competency, then this will be discussed with you by your organisation's learning and development lead, and you may need to resubmit them to maintain your competency accreditation. So the 7 domains of competence. The Cultural Intelligence Framework has 7 domains of practice that have been co-designed and developed using the research evidence base. Not all domains need to be completed for every community of identity. Individuals should decide what level is appropriate for them in the context of the local communities, their role and their interest. Organisations may set objectives for competency as part of their internal strategies to develop cultural intelligence, especially at senior leadership levels. So underneath you can see these 7 different competencies. We start with curiosity, understanding, allyship, anti-discrimination, conscious decision-making, advocacy, and then ending in game changer. So we're going to go through each one now in a little bit more detail. So the first of our competencies is curiosity. So cultural curiosity is a desire to learn about different cultures through self-motivated behaviour. It's defined through demonstrating a commitment and a practical application of cultural curiosity through identifying own knowledge and understanding gaps about different cultures, proactively seeking opportunities to explore and learn about different cultures beyond mandated training opportunities, reflects on the positive impact of curiosity in learning, and applies effective practice to demonstrate translation of curiosity, resulting in learning and practical change. So how do we achieve curiosity? So the activities to support this are primarily knowledge-based activities and could include 4 or more of the following types of activities. So identifying and reading a series of articles and content on a culturally specific newspaper or website, watching a relevant documentary or factual video or TV show or a TED Talk, attending a local community-led event focused on understanding the community, or attending a lecture or talk specific to that community. Part of the competency of curiosity is finding the activities and exploring the different opportunities and ways of learning about a different community. Following on from curiosity, you would then move on to understanding. So cultural understanding is the understanding of differences between yourself and people from other communities, recognising and appreciating the differences in attitudes, values, history and life experiences. It's defined by demonstrate through reflective practice of the context, issues and experience of a specific community developed through interactive experiences. So identifying limits of own knowledge and understanding in the context of a specific community, proactively seeking interactive opportunities to explore and learn about a specific community with individuals from that community, reflects on positive impact of understanding of a specific community, and applying reflective practice to demonstrate translation of understanding, resulting in learning practical change. Activities to support understanding competency development are primarily knowledge-based activities and could include the following. So going to a living library event to talk to a living book, meeting with a community organisation or attending a community event to learn about their experiences, watching videos of testimony and lived experiences from individuals, attending a local community-led event, focus on understanding and the community context and experience, attending a lecture or talk from a community member to understand their perspective and context. Part of the competency of cultural understanding is about two-way interaction. So it is important that across the 4 activities, at least 2 are interactive activities that involve conversations between you and people from a specific community. Allyship is our next competency. So it's about demonstrating an understanding, empathy, and appreciation for diverse cultures, identities, and experiences of marginalised groups, leading to active support, advocacy, and dismantling of systematic inequalities. An ally seeks to promote visibility and recognition of an individual community, and they demonstrate the following key components required to be an effective ally. So they identify mechanisms of structural oppression and the role one's own privilege plays in perpetuating systematic inequalities. They examine one's own assumptions and self-reflect on beliefs and behaviours and work to unlearn harmful stereotypes and biases. They develop the ability to effectively listen to the experiences of individuals or communities and practice empathy in attempting to understand unique challenges faced by different communities, and they develop an awareness of the ways to effectively amplify voices in a respectful manner, ensuring it is guided by the needs and priorities of the individual or communities being supported. So some of the activities you can do to get your competency in allyship, they are both knowledge and skill-based activities and could include attending diversity, equity and inclusion workshops and allyship training sessions focusing on core skills. They may attend knowledge training led by specific communities to build empathy, gain authentic perspectives and develop voice enabling. Join and offer support to community meetings to listen to their own experiences and learn their needs and perspectives and gain an understanding of where you might be able to help. And develop an understanding of inclusive language and communication styles with respect to the cultures and practices of individuals or groups to proactively challenge the perpetuation of damaging stereotypes or biases. And they participate in allyship networks to collaborate with like-minded individuals and engage in reflective practice to support and learn from each other's experiences. So then we move on to anti-discrimination. So you will demonstrate anti-discrimination through recognising discrimination, deciding to act, therefore becoming an active bystander and intervene to disrupt or prevent the discrimination. So to be actively anti-discrimination, individuals need to be able to identify discrimination, including microaggressions. They should know the importance of anti-discrimination action, for example, bystander action, and feel a responsibility and motivation to act. They should have the skills and confidence to safely act in situations of discrimination and adapt anti-discrimination action depending on the context, and they should be able to minimise and or rationalise the obstacles to anti-discrimination, such as bystander intervention, for example, concern for personal safety or impact on relationships. Knowledge-based products are important to develop the ability to recognise discrimination and develop empathy and the responsibility to intervene. Knowledge-based products include watching relevant documentaries, TED Talks, podcasts, relevant books or articles explaining different types of discrimination and how to identify them. They should learn from individuals' lived experiences, for example, through attending community groups, volunteering or lectures, to understand the consequences of discrimination, to develop empathy and motivation to intervene. When using knowledge products, it's important to reflect on your individual privilege and power, recognise that these activities may be uncomfortable, and this should be part of reflections when developing this competency. And they should explore multiple knowledge products for a range of communities facing discrimination. For example, knowledge products relating to racism, transphobia, or disability discrimination. Once an individual can identify discrimination and is motivated to be anti-discrimination, it is important to develop the skills to act and be anti-discrimination. Therefore, bystander intervention training, such as interactive workshops, is an essential skills-based product required for the development of the anti-discrimination competency. We would expect bystander intervention training to be required once every 3 years, but it does not need to be repeated each time a new community competency domain is required. It helps develop a core set of skills which are transferable to different contexts and communities, and it allows individuals to feel safe, feels confident to intervene safely and effectively in a range of contexts and incidents of discrimination. So conscious decision making. So this is making strategic and professional decisions in the context of understanding of different communities and the potential positive and negative impacts of the decision on these communities. So you should be able to demonstrate conscious decision making through reflective practice of the context of a specific community and how these will be impacted by specific decisions. So are they able to recognise the potential impact of a decision on community whilst recognising the limits of their own knowledge and understanding in the community? Proactively seeking to consider both positive and negative impacts of a decision on a specific community, reflecting on the knowledge of these impacts in the context of the decision-making process, and applying reflective practice to demonstrate translation of learning, resulting in practical change. Activities to support developing the competency in conscious decision-making are mainly skills-based activities in which you develop understanding of applying tools like equality impact assessment and run through scenarios and exercises to help develop conscious decision-making and the skills to assess the impact of decisions on communities. Types of skills-based activities can include, as previously mentioned, equality impact assessment training, values-based commissioning training, and decision-making training. You may also find it useful to do some knowledge-based activities using resources which reflect on decisions that perhaps have had negative impacts. And through this perspective of historical hindsight, you can gain a deeper understanding of how conscious decision-making might have led to a different outcome. So advocacy refers to any action that aims to influence the decisions within social, economic, and political systems and institutions. Advocacy promotes social inclusion, equality, and social justice, and allows all people, regardless of their status or background, to shape and influence policy at all levels. The following are essential to the groundwork necessary in developing advocacy. So a clear understanding of a personal, organisational, and situational power dynamics and the concept of the sphere of influence. Demonstrating insight into the level of information engagement required for effective and authentic advocacy. Recognition of individual influence, impact, and consequences of advocacy, and consideration of unintended consequences. And assesses effectively the opportunities to advocate either directly or indirectly in order to achieve positive outcomes for a specific community informed by the views of that community. So activities to support advocacy competency are chiefly skills-based, although some aspects are knowledge-based, and this can be realised through the following activities. So curiosity and understanding involves reading relevant papers, researching on relevant news and broadcasts, listening to people's experiences and asking questions to understand the historical context of the issue, as well as the system and decision makers surrounding said issue. And then taking action, so finding ways in which your voice and privilege can help the cause, such as using social media outlets, building relationships and connections with potential partners, public speaking, and peaceful protesting. So game changer is our final competency. So demonstrating game changing competence is about being able to take the knowledge and skills of cultural intelligence framework and applying this into making meaningful change. It's defined by demonstrating the ability to influence and make change, utilising the skills and competency developed through the cultural intelligence framework. So you would identify specific role and undertake actions, influencing and making influential change in the context of a specific community. Proactively applying the breadth of cultural intelligence framework competencies in practice, reflecting on learning and potential improvement in causing and enabling meaningful change with a specific community through reflective practice, and demonstrating dissemination of learning and experience to other leaders and peers. By being a game changer, you're bringing together all of the other domains of competency to make significant and sustained changes in the world around us. So not everyone will want to be a game changer, and those that do develop this competency may not want to be able to operate in this way all of the time. Developing this competency is a mix of knowledge and skills-based activities to enable bringing together all of the competencies in the cultural intelligence framework around a specific community to impact it effectively. Activities that support this competency may include knowledge-based activities, learning from existing game changes through reading autobiographies by individuals who've made significant societal impact for the community identity, attending or watching recordings of interviews or presentations from game changers within the community of identity being focused on, reaching out to existing people you see as game changers and asking for a mentoring conversation to learn from their wisdom, taking part in activism skills training, taking part statesman, systems leadership, and/or business storytelling skills training. In addition to the game changer skills and knowledge activity for this competency, there are 2 mandatory activities that must be undertaken. So participating in a discussion with members of the community who identify and understand what they want to see changed and how to best support them to change it. Alongside the reflective practice submission, to write a personal statement setting out why you want to become a game changer for this community and how your learning journey has prepared you for this step. Taking the step to seek competency in the domain of game changer is a significant step, and because of this, there are additional mandatory activities to ensure that the individual is rooted strongly in the views and concerns of the community itself as they complete the framework. This is the only competency where all submissions must be peer reviewed before the competency certificate is issued. So to help with your understanding of the BCIF, we've got a case study on the understanding competency. So Kit is a senior finance manager in a local authority, and they recently got promoted and are now managing a multicultural team. There have been some tensions in the past around an individual from the Gypsy, Roma and Traveller community, and this has led Kit to start a journey to develop their cultural intelligence around these communities. They completed the cultural curiosity activities and reflective practice, and they are now moving forward to deepen this through the cultural understanding competency. Using the toolkit, Kit identifies several activities that they can use to develop their cultural understanding and continue their journey. These include going to a community event for the Gypsy, Roma and Traveller History Month, where individuals from the community shared their experiences, and they reflected that this gave them more of a sense of the local issues and situation. They watched a World Storytelling Cafe video with the people from the GRT community sharing their lived experience. Kit found this a useful way to understand different experiences within the community and reflect on diversity in the GRT community. They reached out through the organisation, asked if any members of the community would be willing to help them develop understanding, and someone from another team volunteered, and they had a coffee and talked about what it was like to be from the GRT community in the organisation. This led Kit to some really powerful reflection about discrimination in the workplace against non-British white people. Kit attended a talk from the friends, families and travellers, and was able to ask some questions in the discussion at the end to strengthen their understanding of the community. And once they had completed 4 activities, Kit submitted their 4 reflective practice notes templates to the organisation learning portal for review and assessment. 3 weeks later, Kit received confirmation that they were satisfactory and an electronic certificate to show that they had completed competency and cultural understanding for the Gypsy, Roma and Traveller communities. The letter also gave some thoughts on to develop the next level of competency in either conscious decision making or allyship. As a result of completing the competency reflections, Kit felt better able to manage some of the tensions within the team, and because they were able to share with the team that they had done this development work for their own understanding, this led others in the team to ask about it. Kit facilitated a group discussion in a team meeting where they shared what they had learned, and through this, several other members of the team started their own cultural intelligence journeys. The team members from the community spoke to Kit privately and said they were grateful that Kit had done this, as it showed strong commitment as a manager. So thank you for listening for this short video on the contents of the Birmingham Cultural Intelligence Framework. There will be another video discussing more in depth within the pilot, and additional videos on the Cultural Humility and Safety Framework within the playlist. So thank you for listening today and hope you have a great day.